Hey, I'm Nate. I'm Associate Pastor at Christ Church Montevideo, and welcome to this series of chats based on the book of Philippians. We're calling it Weird is the New Normal, Choosing Joy in Quarantine. And if you missed the introduction video of this series, you can go down and click the link in the description below. But these are weird times. Maybe they're the weirdest of times. And the strangest part may be that virtually the whole world is kind of in the same boat, in the same situation. Now, it's true that we all experience different side effects from this situation, economically or mentally or emotionally, etc. But the whole world essentially is reacting in the same typical and normal ways. People are fearful and anxious and angry. People are discontent and self-centered and hopeless, just to name a few. Now, while these reactions are normal and understandable, Philippians paints a bizarre picture of a man in house arrest after not committing any crime, not unlike you and I right now. But without ignoring or denying his negative feelings, he found a way, the secret, he called it, to being joyful in any situation. Now, it's abnormal and strange and weird to be joyful in terrible circumstances. But Paul says that people like that stand out like flaming stars in the pitch black universe. And it didn't make any sense for Paul to react this way to his situation, but he talks about this intriguing piece of God that makes no sense, that transcends all understanding. So I think that Paul, in this letter to the Philippians, has this main message for you and I today. That in the midst of a weird new normal, we should make being even weirder our new normal. This is what I mean. Those of us who've come to Jesus, we have the opportunity to react in a different way than the typical person does. Because we have access to this unique joy, whatever happens, and this unique peace that makes no sense to have. But this is strange. This kind of life is odd. It stands out. But I've always felt that the word weird is actually, it's a compliment. So if you were already going to call me that in the comment section, go right ahead. I thank you. But we all know we can't control how we feel, but we can be intentional about how we think and how we act. So, practically speaking, Philippians reveals that part of this secret to being joyful, to feeling joy in any circumstance, is to intentionally think differently and act differently. But we want to be careful to draw a distinction here from the outset, that choosing joy, intentionally thinking differently and acting differently, with the hope of feeling differently, that should be distinguished from the unhealthy emotional defense mechanisms. Pete Scazzero, in his book Emotionally Healthy Spirituality, he talks about a number of these common defense mechanisms that we use most naturally and normally to protect ourselves from pain and loss and confusion. Things like denying or minimizing to have some sort of synthetic peace, or rationalizing or intellectualizing to avoid actually dealing with our feelings, or distracting ourselves or medicating ourselves in different ways to try to escape our reality. But Paul doesn't promote any of this. In fact, he doesn't ignore the situation he's in. In the span of just 4 verses, he says 5 times, I have been put here in chains. He's not denying his circumstances, but he actually mentions his feelings, his sorrow, and his anxiety and his longing. So catch these important distinctions. Paul doesn't deny or minimize his situation, but he does change his attitude. He doesn't rationalize or intellectualize his feelings, but he does change his mindset. And he doesn't try to escape mentally from his present reality, but he does change his perspective. And we will see how he does each of those in the following videos. But for now, I want to leave you with this question from the Emotionally Healthy Spirituality course. Which of these defense mechanisms have you noticed in yourself during this strange COVID season? How have you reacted to pain or loss or confusion? I'm going to leave on the screen a more complete list, and I just want to encourage you to reflect on this for now, and we'll see you next time.